Hi, this is Catherine, and this is Taking Tea with Catherine. I am drinking lemon lavender lace. It's always so hard to say that one. I had this recently, actually, on this channel, but I chose it because, well, I needed something relaxing and caffeine-free for the evening-ish. It's evening-ish right now. And also, I like the cover. It looks very naturey. It's got foxes. I don't know why I didn't notice that before. There's foxes in the front. And I don't know, I just thought it'd be a nice kind of appropriate one for the month of May. I'm doing my May TBR, but as always, really, I used to do a little bit better, I think, at sticking to my TBR. But I don't think I'm gonna ever be completely organized at actually saying, these are the books I'm gonna read this month, and actually reading them. I will read some of the books on my TBR. So I'm kind of thinking of this as the maybe 2020. And maybe that's how it should always be. Maybe instead of being so anxious about what we're going to read, we just make some plans and then go with it. Right? I mean, don't we have enough things to stress us out in this life? But I also like the idea of books that I'm looking forward to reading at the same time. So I think if I have some here, and I'll show them to you, and I can also incorporate books that I get in the mood to read. You'll probably notice that I don't have any specific history books in here, and I am kind of on a history kick right now. And that means that I haven't chosen anything yet for May that I might read that is history related, because I just can't decide yet. So I think that's going to be a mood read if I read any history books. At the same time, I am currently reading a number of books that I started in April, and some that I started before, but mostly the ones that I started in April, I think, that are history books, really, but I just haven't gotten very far in them. So those are books I'm not even going to show you here because they're not books I'm going to start. Mainly, and not always, but mainly when I do a TBR, I include books that I plan on beginning, that I haven't started yet. So for all the books I'm showing you here, there's a stack this high of books that I'm currently reading, so whatever. So first I'm going to just say I do keep a regular diet of reading mystery novels, and I will continue to do that whenever I can. And some of it was very tidy for me in a way. But this one, first of all, is just one I am doing as a continuing to read Agatha Christie every month. Right now I'm in a Poirot deal, but I may change that up as time goes on, depending on what I get a hold of. And so The Mystery of the Blue Train seems about right about now, because I think it's the next one when I'm not reading strictly in order, but when the order that I have completed so far, this is the next one. There is a collection of short stories that I haven't really read through yet, but otherwise, this is the next one. So I'm pretty much certain that I've seen an adaptation not too long ago, so this may seem familiar to me. I'm just used to that now. That's okay. Because I've also watched a lot of Marple adaptations, so there's no way out for me when it comes to Agatha Christie. I know there's other books that she wrote that weren't Poirot or Marple, but still, that's what I'm in the mood for. And this one is, I'm in a possible kind of a book club, like a virtual book club with some friends of mine that one of my friends is trying to get together. And so far, when I've been in book clubs, it's been a mostly social deal where some people read the book, some people don't, some people read some of it, and we all get together and we eat and we drink wine or whatever, and we have a great time, and I love it, but it's not necessarily a strict, you must read this book. I don't know how this book club is going to be. It might be more of an expectation of reading the book, and it might not. But I'm the kind of person, I'm not a super teacher's pet nerd, but I am the kind of person who kind of wants to have read the book for the book club, and if I haven't, I'll usually have a good reason for it. So the book that was chosen, and the book club Zoom, I think, meeting, everything's on Zoom right now, is so it's for May 15th, I think, so that gives me just a couple of weeks. However, this is very tidy because this is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I got it on Amazon. I had some credit, so I got it for really, really cheap. But I've seen this around for so long. When I say so long, for a couple of years now, on BookTube, and elsewhere. I see it every time I go into a bookshop, and it's also a Reese's book club. It's okay, whatever. I think I've read some other books that Reese Witherspoon likes. You know, she's not my. I have lint on me. She's not like my guide when it comes to reading, but I actually don't mind a lot of her picks, so that's always good. The reason why I said, wow, this is not a bad thing to fit in right now is because it's a murder mystery, so it's a mystery. And the writer is a nature writer, apparently, and apparently there's a lot of nature writing in this book. I know a little bit about it. I've heard good and bad reviews, but that fits in two of my reading goals for the month. And so if I love it, if I hate it, at least it fits. And we like that. So that leads into the whole deal of Springathon, which is something I'm very excited about because it's a readathon, a reading challenge that fits in with my interests very much, and again fits in with what I'm currently reading or about to read, and it just kind of seems like something that would get one's mind off of things nowadays. I'm trying not to dwell on things on this channel because I don't want to be depressing. Everybody hears enough of that, what's going on in the world right now. But of course we're going to talk about it a little bit. And I don't mean to say that one should escape entirely from paying attention to what's going on in the world. No, because you have to. But to the point of not getting oneself overly anxious, it is good to have things to dwell on that are a little more wholesome, perhaps. And so, I already did like a possible picks for Springathon, and so you'll probably recognize most of these books already. That's good. But these are the ones that I really would like to pick up in May, and I hope I can at least get to a few of these. So this one, it's one I bought recently as well, and again, I feel like I should be really getting to books that I've had deeper, farther away in my TBR, you know, in my library, but sometimes when you just want to read something. But also this is, I don't know, Mozart Starling. So it, not that I need to strictly go with all the prompts, but this would fit in with the bird prompt. And it's about Mozart, and it says in May 27th, so May, so that works too. May 27th, 1784. Goodness. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart met a flirtatious little starling in a Viennese shop who sang an improvised version of the theme from his piano concerto number 17 in G major. Sensing a kindred spirit, Anne of Green Gables, in the plucky young bird, Mozart bought him and took him home to be a family pet. For 3 years, the starling lived with Mozart, influencing his work and serving as his companion, distraction, consolation, and muse. So I think we could all use a companion, distraction, a consolation, and a muse ourselves. So I think, that could be cool. And it goes a little more into starlings and writing about that. The writer herself, Lyanda Lynn Haupt. I don't know if the P is pronounced Haupt or Haupt. Do not know. So she writes about rescuing a starling of her own. I like starlings. I remember reading somewhere, I read a book about Shakespeare, and I don't remember who wrote it, and how Shakespeare has influenced us now, not just in the language and just in the plot itself, but someone, whoever it was, escapes me, but someone had tried to bring over starlings in the United States because of Shakespeare. I guess because it's mentioned in Shakespeare. I don't remember exactly what happened, and that basically changed the whole bird ecosystem. I'm not sure if it was just in New York or elsewhere, but I definitely know that you see a lot of starlings in New York. You also see sparrows and pigeons and a few other types of birds, but those are the main ones, and apparently that wasn't always the case. So, I like reading about birds. And what a pretty cover, right? Although usually when I read, I take off the cover, so we will be dealing with this yellow. Plenty of vitamin C. All right. The next one almost seems like something one would read in the winter because you're thinking of wool. But you know, it's still kind of cold in my apartment, so that might work. I don't mean that I want it to stay cold. No, I don't. I don't like being cold, but I kind of don't want it. I don't want it to get hot either. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't want it to get hot because I don't like to have to deal with the air conditioning. Although my air conditioner has never come down. It's just so noisy and I hate that it's necessary, you know? But I'm also kind of feeling contrary about the fact that, you know, I live in New York. I don't get to go out that much. And who knows how long it'll be before I go back out on a regular basis. And spring weather is one of my favorite types of weather, and May tends to be one of the top types of, you know, best temperature of the year months. And I will get a little cranky if I have to be indoors all the time when the weather is absolutely gorgeous. So in a way, it's like, well, if it's going to stay a little bit unseasonably cool, that's all right. That's a spiteful thing to say, isn't it? But anyway, so I thought Sheepish by Catherine Friend might be a nice, I hope so, hopefully not a sad book, because I can't deal with sad right now. I can deal with a little bit of sad, but Catherine Friend, so Catherine, author of Hit by a Farm and the Compassionate Carnivore. That sounds like me, kind of. Like, I know I eat meat. I don't want to be a meat eater in a way, but I can't seem to give it up. Anyway, 2 women, 50 sheep, and enough wool to save the planet. All right, so it sounds like a easygoing memoir. It's not a very big book. Okay. Speaking of memoir, oh, and by the way, that was animal. Good prompt. I don't know if I have water in any of these prompts, but I'm going to be reading books that probably, like if I continue, this is still here, Ring the Hill, there's plenty of water in that one. So if I have continuing books that have some of these prompts, that's all right too. Let's just focus on the books that I might crack open for the first time in May. And then I mentioned this as something that I've gotten a lot of love for, both online and in person, and that's Lab Girl by Hope Jahren. Is it Jahren? And we will see how it goes. I am looking forward to it. I said this, I think I said this not too long ago. Stop reading the back, Catherine. I always say to people, when people kind of say, what, if you were, you know, what would you have done over? What kind of job would you have taken? Blah, blah. And I don't like to really look in the past and with regrets or whatever. But if I were to study something in science, or I would say in more of a life science, I know I couldn't do biology because I never had to do any biological studies in college that would have required dissections, which I know a lot of people who do. I can't do that stuff. I'm too squeamish. I am super squeamish about stuff like that. I could never have done that. I could dissect things that have never lived before, maybe, but not. And I know plants are technically life, but it's different. It's just different. Come on. But I always thought it would be kind of easier for me to study plant life because there is, I mean, not that there are animals that interact with plants, but you know what I mean? Like soil and trees and leaves or whatever. It just seems like something that I would be a little more suited for in my nature. Unless it was a lot of chemistry, then I might be up the creek because my math skills are not great. Anyway, so this may have something to do with that a little bit, and I don't know that much about this book, but I know that I've gotten a lot of recommendations for it, so maybe it's time to start it. And I show this to you guys a number of times for April, and it didn't happen. This is the fictional book that I would choose. Kind of travel because it's in England. And the person is going from where they were, I think, in India. I think. Is this the one? To England. So it's slightly travel, but it's fiction, so I don't know if that counts. But let's just be a little lax while we're at it. And that's The Secret Garden, for goodness sakes. I need to start this. Why didn't I not start it yet? I think it's just because it's so pretty. I'm almost afraid of not messing it up. Why do I do this to myself? Why don't I just get a beat up version? But there it is. And so that's like the definite maybes. Here's another book that I got, though, again, on Amazon because I had that credit. So altogether, I paid like $3 for that, where the crawdads sing. Man, I know nothing about crawdads. And, but I've been trying to get a hold of this, so then when I found that I had credit and I didn't have to really technically pay for it, I was like, all right, I'll buy it now. And that's The Overstory by Richard Powers. It's very tree heavy, and I don't know if I'll start this in May, but if I can, I will. I've heard really good things about it. It just sounds like something that might be up my alley. So this is like the definitely maybe possibly, but I don't count it as much. So that's just an overview of what I really would like to read in May. If I read half of them, I will feel very much accomplished. And if I add other books, if I finish my past books, I'll feel very good. I don't know how my mind will be in the month of May. Every week, every day is different. Some days I literally feel like I can read until the cows come home, and other days I read 2 pages, 3 pages, and that's it. I would say part of it is the whole quarantine thing changing everything, but I don't know. There have been months in my life where I've been working and carrying a book with me every day and going about my day and just not reading a lot. So I don't know. How are you guys doing? I don't want to get into too much of the, that kind of check-in. That's not what this video is for, but I'm just curious. If you guys have any TBRs up in plan for May, let me know. If you, I'll be watching a lot of your videos if you are booktubers. If not, I'd like to see if any of you, either way, are participating in this nature thing, this springathon. That's what it is, springathon. And I just think that it will be very nice. But if you're not, that's fine too. Let me know what you're reading. Let me know if you've read any of these books. No spoilers, but let me know if they're any good. So this is Catherine at Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely rest of April and May. Yeah, full of tea and books. Bye.